connection will mean that we respect one another for those strengths that we have received, every one of us individually. And that's why I want to encourage you for this week. I want to encourage you for the rest of your life to go through life looking at other people through a different kind of view, with a different kind of glasses, you know. Hello beloved, how are you doing? Are you doing well today? I hope you are. If not, I hope you will be well after this video and that you will be well soon. Well, for those watching for the first time, my name is Sunely and I'm here with a love note for you. It's called God's Love Note, to bless you, to edify you, to encourage you, to strengthen you, and to help you throughout this week, throughout your life and everything, because there are things that God has blessed me with, and I want to share that with you so that you are blessed as well. Today, it's not according to schedule. It's not the love note that was according to the schedule that I made. But it's something that I have been thinking about recently, and I've been encountering it a lot of times. And today I was just blessed. Well, of course, I'm filming this video. You're seeing it on Monday. It's coming out on Monday. But I'm filming this on Sunday, and today was church. Of course, I went to church, and we had an awesome service.
Wait a minute!
It was such a blessed service.
What?
The pastor from Metro Life Church, Pastor Aaron, was there, and he blessed us with a wonderful message that really suited actually what I have been talking with God about, talking with others about, encouraging others with as well. And I thought, you know what, for a change, I will share this with you differently from the current series of love notes that we have been having. But it's still a love note that God has blessed me with, and I want to share it with you. I'm reading the Bible verse that Pastor Aaron talked about today, or in your case, as you're watching this yesterday. It's from 1 Thessalonians 5 verse 11. I'm reading from the Amplified Bible, and it says, "Therefore, encourage and comfort one another and build up one another just as you are doing." And Pastor Aaron talked about encouragement and how important it is to encourage one another. And it goes beyond just the shallow, you look good, or doing something for someone or anything like that. It goes to that place. I loved when he said that you see the grace of God in the lives of others and you point it out to others. You tell others about the grace that God has been showing through somebody else. And this is it's a combined message, because that one thing that I want to give to you for this week is to let this Bible verse about encouraging one another, build you up, lift you up, and do this as well with other people. I think it's very important, because as we look at this world today, where love is actually, being cooled down, people are not as fast in complimenting one another or stating something good from another person, or saying something, really considering how to encourage someone or bless someone. And a lot of times we look at it from our point of view, instead of just looking at that person and stating what you see that person does, that it blesses a lot of people and blesses others. And there's always something that someone is doing that you can encourage somebody with. And I believe that if people would do that more often, this world would be a more positive place, would be a more blessed place, and people will be more lovable somewhere or the other. And it has really been blessing me, because these days, why this encouraged me and helped me, it encouraged me, this message was as well because I'm really thinking about people these days and about appreciating people, appreciating the gifts in people, and seeing the strengths of others and working together with people, working from their strengths, working from people's strengths and not from their weaknesses. We help each other in each other's weaknesses, and we, help each other as well with our strengths. A lot of times when people disagree with one another, we have the tendency to just see the part that we disagree with instead of seeing the part that could really help us to move forward and help us to change and help the environment to change. So we are very skeptical about listening to someone we disagree with. But I've really seen the couple of weeks and a couple of years even, that the more we look at each other's strengths and we look at things that the good that we can get out of what somebody is saying or what somebody is doing, if we would appreciate that and work together with each other with that, this world would be an amazing place to live in and will be a different place to live in. And one thing that God has really showed me is the importance of communication. And that's why communication is about encouraging one another to do good and getting the best out of that person, because Pastor Aaron also shared this Bible verse from Hebrews chapter 10 verse 24 to 25, and it says, "And let us consider thoughtfully how we may encourage one another to love and to do good deeds, not forsaking our meeting together as believers for worship and instruction as the habit of some, but encouraging one another, and all the more faithfully as you see the day of Christ's return approaching." And it is beautiful because it says to consider how we may encourage one another to love and to do good deeds. And I believe that when you see the grace of God in other people, and when you see what God has placed in a person, the talents that He has placed in a person, the things that He's doing through someone, if you can acknowledge that and you can give that back to that person, so that person can get that encouragement to keep on moving, to do the good things that He's doing and do the lovable and the wonderful things that He's doing, this world would be such a good and wonderful place, because people will continue to do those things and bless others. And even when they're tired, those encouragement that come just at the right time will help them to not give up and keep on moving forward. And it's part of communication. It's part of taking that step and daring to go take that step to communicate with someone and to say something to someone. A lot of times when I see in several places where you work, in churches, or at home and stuff like that, when things happen in life, or when you have notice something or you see something, people can come up with their own ideas about what just happened, or state something about what just happened and create their own thoughts about things. And a lot of times, being from the background of having studied psychology, an important thing of a psychologist is to be objective and to look at situations from an objectively manner. Objectively, you don't judge with whatever background you have or anything like that. But I do think it's difficult to do that and to look at objectively at things, not with your own feelings, your own thoughts and stuff like that, because you will always have a certain background or some certain thing that you are used to, or you have seen before, you have experienced before. And when you listen to a story from someone, you can immediately form a certain idea about something, or you see somebody act some way and you think that person is acting that way because of something you have experienced before. But that doesn't need to be the case. If you're looking at it objectively, you can only state what is happening at that moment and what has been said at that moment. And for you to know where it comes from, you need to have a conversation to find out what just happened, right? You cannot just decide that this just happened, that person means this, For example, very simple. You walk in, you greet, somebody doesn't greet you back, and you already think, that person doesn't like me. Or you think, that person is such a bad person because he never grades or whatever. But do you know the background story of that person? Do you know how that person woke up this morning? Do you know what kind of news that person just got maybe a few minutes ago, and why he was so focused he didn't greet you? So many times we are ready to put some kind of judgment and do things that might, hurt other people, or say things that are just plain stupid. I'm sorry, but it's just plain stupid, and you're acting a certain way or taking steps or going to such levels that I'm like, whoa, you didn't even talk to the person that you thought or you think that you hate or anything like that. You didn't even take that chance to communicate and to find out why somebody said whatever he said or did whatever he did, And I believe that by encouraging one another and by starting with stating a fact of something good that you see in somebody else, the grace of God manifesting in somebody else's life, are opening doors to more communication. Because by stating a fact of something good that you see in somebody else, whether you like that person or not, you state that grace or talent that God has placed in that person, you are opening a door for communication, to even discuss those things that you might not agree on, or you might not be sure of that it truly is, and taking away those biased thoughts or things that has been bothering you. I believe that as we encourage each other and we see the good in one another, and as we share genuinely those good things that we see in each other that just light somebody up, or that is such an influence or such an inspiring thing for somebody else, that when we do that, we can get closer to one another, and that can be a connection. Having that connection doesn't mean that we agree 24/7 of the day. Having that connection doesn't mean that we are on one page with everything. But at the very least, having that connection will mean that we respect one another for those strengths that we have received, every one of us individually. And that's why I want to encourage you for this week. I want to encourage you for the rest of your life to go through life looking at other people through a different kind of view, with a different kind of glasses, Let us learn, let us teach ourselves to see the best in people, and to, give that back to them. When you see that, when you experience it, when you have studied that and you see, wow, this person does this or whatever, let us give back to that person from the blessing that that person has given us, that inspiration that person has given us, and encourage that person to keep on going and doing what that person is doing, and blessing other people as well, Because sometimes we can be so focused on ourselves that we can't really see others or see the goodness of others or the blessings of others, because we're so narrow-mindedly looking at one way or whatever like that. So I really want to give this with you for this week and for your life. I can guarantee you that the joy that you will receive while blessing somebody else and seeing something like, somebody just bloom and just become so blessed by what you just said, the joy of giving back, the joy of sharing that encouragement with somebody else is so great and so wonderful and so amazing that it will bless you as well as you encourage others. So go out today, whoever you see today, bless them. Whatever you appreciate about that person, bless them now, encourage him now, because you know what? It will be a shame, and I always say that these past few days, especially because I'm thinking about, on the 11th of March was the day that my mom passed and went to be with the Lord. And there's a lot of things that maybe I have not voiced out to my mom that I appreciated that much. And when that person is not there anymore, you cannot say it to that person and see the reaction of that person anymore. So if that person you are so blessed with, or that has inspired you, right? You see the grace of God being working through, the talents being amazing and stuff like that, is alive today, I want to encourage you to let that person know. Because today you can see him smile or her smile Today you can hug that person and thank that person. Today you can be grateful for what that person is investing in your life, because you are both alive today. So take that with you. Use your time wisely. Appreciate and love those people around you that are inspiring and are a blessing to your life. And encourage them. Give them, little push in the back, like, hey, you know what? You did well. You know what? You're doing great. You know what? I'm seeing Jesus in you. I loved how Pastor Aaron said how he saw Jesus in a brother that was translating at that moment. And this brother is truly, indeed, a very compassionate and lovable person. And his love for other people, his love for he goes sometimes beyond his own limits to help others. And it's amazing, how he was being encouraged at that moment while he was translating. And to see that reaction of someone being encouraged, and we all encourage each other in church as well. It's the little things that count. It's the little things that matter. Of course, the great things and the wonderful big things are great as well. And we give glory to God to those things. But if we can appreciate each other and love each other now while we are still here on this planet, until the day that our Father sends Jesus back to take us, with him, until that day that we are not here anymore. Let us appreciate each other. Let us encourage each other to do good and to love one another beyond anything that we may think or find or whatever of somebody else. Let us walk in love and encourage each other. Yes? So, that is our love note from today. It's a long one, but I just wanted to, empty my heart and tell those things that I was excited about these days and that I'm currently doing as well, and wanted to share that with you. So take that with you for this week and enjoy life. Enjoy your loved ones and everyone around you, and I will see you in the next one. Have a glorious day and see you next time.